Hi, this is Lois Haggard from the New Mexico Department of Health. This is the fourth and last video in a series of videos intended to serve as an overview for IBIS adopters of the types of pages that are found in the IBIS-PH application. This video is about custom dataset query pages. Query allows a user to query a public health data set on the fly. They can generate counts, rates, confidence intervals, and data visualizations like charts and maps for the data in the raw data set. The user typically has to select data filters and cross-tabulation criteria from a query builder page before they submit the query. And the query results pages typically provide very little in the way of topic background or public health context. These pages are for users who have a little better understanding of the context and are looking for custom data output. The IBIS custom query pages allow the user to perform a pretty complex set of actions and involves maintaining several different types of files. So years ago when I first started working on IBIS, this was the black box that defined my understanding of the query, and I always liked this cartoon, so I included it. The miracle occurs. So, query pages are just like any other internet page where the user clicks on a link that sends a request to a web server. In this case, the IBIS web server. A query builder page request goes to the IBIS web server and IBIS returns HTML. The query module interface pages are stored in the IBIS application as XML pages. IBIS uses an XSLT style sheet to transform the XML to the HTML that the user's browser can read. So when the request goes to the IBIS web server, this query builder string tells the IBIS application that this is a custom query request, and that tells the application which XSLT style sheet to use, and this part of the URL at the end tells the IBIS application which XML file to use, and it puts them together and creates an HTML file that gets sent to the client or the user. So for this part of IBIS, the admin application is not relevant, so we'll just fade that away and talk about the parts of the application that are relevant. So the XML files, the back-end files, and SAS datasets are the files that are maintained by people like me on the public health side, and as opposed to software developers like STG in Salt Lake City. So here is the query sequence again. The client sends a request. The IBIS-View application knows from the URL what kind of a request it is, and they pair up the XML and XSLT and send the HTML to the user. So here's a query builder page where the user filters the data to years, selects to cross-tabulate by geographic area, and submits the query. And then the query is processing, and here's what's happening there. The IBIS-View application, the part in blue here, creates its own URL and sends it to the IBIS-Q query application. The query application reads the URL and writes a SAS program based on the information in the URL. SAS processes the SAS program and returns a small rectangular dataset to IBIS-Q. IBIS-Q formats the dataset the rectangular data set as XML and passes it back to IBIS-View. IBIS-View pairs the XML with an XSLT style sheet and sends the results page to the user's browser. So here's what that small rectangular file looks like. There are 33 counties in New Mexico, and these are the FIPS codes for the counties and the data values for prenatal care in the first trimester. Here's the first county, it's Bernalillo, and the prenatal care rate is 67.6. And here's what the XML looks like that IBIS-Q created. Quick Geo County 1, Bernalillo, with a value of 67.6. And here's what the results page looks like in the user's browser. They get the data visualization, which has Bernalillo County here at 67.6%. And there's more information on the results page, tables and data sources and that kind of thing. This is just another view of that query sequence, and I appreciate your hanging in there for this video, and hopefully it fleshed a little bit out for you about what's in that query black box. So this concludes the tidy little video series for IBIS adopters on the types of pages in IBIS. Thank you very much.